Jai Hind, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to this special program on the occasion of Kargil Vijay Divas. Today I have a hero from the Kargil War. And before I ask him the first question, let me tell you that the officer that you can see in the frame is Colonel Lalit Veer Chakra. And when I was a young cadet in the academy, he was the adjutant of the academy. Sir, a very warm welcome to our show, and thank you on behalf of SS57, sir. You made men out of boys.
Thank you, Gaurav. It was a pleasure and a privilege.
So my first question to you is, sir, we've all read the citation for your Veer Chakra, sir. But I want to know the emotion behind the citation. What exactly happened on those hills of Kargil? What exactly happened, sir? Your unit is an iconic unit, one Paramveer Chakra, one Ashok Chakra, sir, and many, many such gallantry awards. But what happened, sir?
Well, you're talking about my citation. I think the biggest citation that I would have got is the endorsement I would have got from my boys who fought with me in war, more than the citation and the Veer Chakra. It was firstly a great privilege to lead such a fantastic battalion like the 1st 11 Gurkha Rifles. It's a great privilege. And my father also served, and he was also commissioned into the same battalion. That's the best and the beauty of it all. However, I took over the command of the battalion when the war was already on. And for me, it was a huge challenge because I was commanding 17 Rashtra Rifles, which is a counter-terrorist operation-oriented unit. And the colonel of the regiment offered this battalion because the previous commanding officer had already proceeded on premature retirement. And there was only twice he was officiating as the commanding officer, and the battalion was in the thick of battle. So I quickly took up this challenge. And you can imagine to lead in battle. I mean, the boys don't know me because I've not served in the battalion. The JCs don't know me. The officers don't know me. I don't know the terrain. I don't know what is the situation because I'm just been lifted in a helicopter within 24 hours from the counter-terrorist operations into the conventional war over here. And there was so many of the information was totally ambiguous over there. The situation was ambiguous. So for me, it was a huge challenge with so much of mixed feeling and, apprehensions. At the same time, Josh, that privilege of commanding the battalions. But one thing I knew, to command a Gurkha battalion in war is everyone's dream. And with that absolute confidence, I led the battalion. And I would say it was a culmination of all these activities, the command. And of course, when I took over the command on 2nd of June, my plan was on 2nd of July. I got to crawl, meet all my guys, go to the faraway post, show my face and tell them I am the commanding officer and I will be leading you into battle. And we don't have to worry, we will do it together. And things like that, to bring up the josh and the camaraderie amongst all my boys. I did that for 1 month. And within 1 month, we launched this attack on Khalubar top. On that absolute cold night of 2nd July, I can never forget that. With 2 of my companies leading. And because my company commanders, that was Bravo and Charlie company, Major Christopher Correa and that time Major Ajay Tomar, excellent company commanders. And because of the good work done by these company commanders and the young officers who were there with them and all the troops, I suppose being the commanding officer, it was my privilege and it was my good fortune that I got a good command and we succeeded in the battle. So hence, that explains the award that I got.
So, first hand about the legend of Captain Manoj Pandey, because we have heard so much, we have seen references in movies, we have read the citation. What was he like and what exactly did he do, sir? We know, but I know, sir, I have read that, I've studied that, but the Battle of Khalubar Top and other things also, sir. This entire legend of Captain Manoj Pandey, what was it about, sir?
See, that's why they say, I still remember in the drill square when I was a cadet, Gaurav, our Ustad used to say, when we made a mistake, of course, he used to jokingly say it, but it almost amounted to the same thing. He used to say, Hira dur se hi chamakta hai. He caught you there, So that is such a absolutely correct statement because someone who's honar, you can actually spot him from far away. And Manoj Pandey was one such young officer. Physically, he was not very tall. He must have been around 5'5" or so, but he really walks tall amongst us as far as courage, valor, sense of responsibility, maturity is concerned. Now, this young boy, when I joined the battalion, he had already been into a part of an operation. You know, in Jubar Hills, where the 70 Brigade had launched one attack along with the other battalions like Garhwal and Jakalai and one Bihar, Alpha Company was sent with this young officer to help these people for this attack because their troops were not adequate. So they had taken few companies from our brigade also and from my battalion. Alpha Company, Manoj Pandey was there. And in the Jubar attack, he very successfully managed to sort of make a firm base for the further attacks. But of course, that attack did not succeed. And, you know, because of so many other reasons, that's another point. But he had completed his task. And from there, then he was brought back to the battalion. So when I came, he was part of the company with the Bravo company with Christopher Correa. And he was the platoon commander. And I remember that night, that fateful night, moonlit night, when we were chopping our way up, the fire was so intense. I'm telling you this, there was ripping everything left and right of me over there. I'm seeing my boys falling down and can't do anything about it. We had to keep on moving up steadily. Stopping would have been absolute disaster because when you're under fire and you stop, then you tend to stay there. So I was exhorting my boys. Every of my officers were also exhorting. In between, we were saying Jai Mahakali, Aya Gurkhali, and we were moving up. But these youngsters, I tell you, they were a delight. Some people said that the youngsters, they fought the battle well and things. I said, not well, they did extremely well. So at one point of time, when we were absolutely pinned down because of extreme amount of fire that was coming from Kalubar top and bunker area, which was slightly below that area of Kalubar top, there was a crossfire. And in the absolutely murderous crossfire, we were caught. And now I was in a huge dilemma being the commanding officer when we were around 600 yards short of the objective. What do I do? Do I proceed ahead? If I do that, if all of us get killed, tomorrow history is going to be very unforgiving and people will point fingers and say, useless fellow. He was an idiot. He got himself killed and he got his full command killed. Do I stop? If I stop again, tomorrow in history, people will point out and say, what a stupid man. Had he just pushed ahead, he would have done it. But why did he have to stop? Because of that, a good opportunity went by. So, you know, either way you buy, and the tremendous responsibility on your shoulders, it's really killing. But at the same time, it is very empowering too, you know. When you realize that there's so much at stake, it's not only your regiment, it's not only your army, it's the nation. Because tomorrow we are beaten back, they'll say Hindustan ki Fauj, you know, ka humne ye kiya. So Captain Manoj Pandey was very close to me. There was so much of bombardment. They were helter-skelter. I was out of communication from both my company commanders. I caught hold of Pandey and I said, there are 4 bunkers which are onto our left, which is creating mayhem over here. While with the rest of the people, I proceed up, you proceed this side and make sure you finish these bunkers. This young officer, without a second thought, he said, yes, sir. He collected about 34 boys of his from the platoon and they proceeded up. What I learned later was, when he went up, there were not 4 bunkers, there were 6 bunkers. There were 2 more echelon behind. And all having those deadly machine guns and that AD gun, you know, 14.7 mm, firing 1,000 rounds a minute. It was deadly. And at night, believe me, Gaurav, I still get nightmares. Those tracer bullets coming out of those AD guns, you know, tracer type of bullets, and from the machine guns, from the MMGs over there, it's screaming and coming like this at you, you know. And you can feel that hot air pocket of that bullet going past you. And your sides of your jackets are getting torn to shreds because of the fire that's coming. It was a terrible nightmare. So Manoj Pandey went up. When he saw the other 2 bunkers, which are slightly echelon behind, he asked Havaldar B.V. Devan to go and finish those bunkers. And Havaldar B.V. Devan, very, very brave guy with a lot of guts and initiative, he charged those bunkers head on because there was no time to spare. They were spewing death from that place. He managed to finish those 2 bunkers, but in the bargain, he also got a spray of bullets and he got killed in his action over there. A brave way to go. Captain Manoj Pandey, with fire and move tactics, what he did was they managed to throw grenades through the loopholes by crawling under the machine guns. And they finished 3 of those bunkers. The 4th one was still firing. And by this time, he had got some bullets and he was bleeding from his side. And the boys told him, sir, forget it now, you rest, we will do it for you. But this is where, is the difference between a real person, that sense of responsibility, that sense of duty. He said, the commanding officer has given me the privilege of commanding you guys and taking this. So it will be my proud privilege that I take part in the last one to finish it and then give my victory sign to the commanding officer. Mission accomplished and operation, code word Khopri, that was the success signal. And he went there, he crawled close by, but when he got up, took out the grenade and threw it, his reaction, his reflex action was very slow because he had lost a lot of blood. He was weak, hungry, and very cold, I suppose he must have been very weak by that time because of loss of blood. The Pakis saw it and they fired, I think, a burst of 4 rounds that went and hit him straight through the helmet. I saw that helmet, through the helmet, and absolutely blasted his his head off, skull off. And he fell down dead. But just when the impact happened, some of my boys tell me he shouted out, "No chodno," and then he collapsed. "No chodno" means don't leave them.
Don't leave
Even till the last, dying breath, look at this boy, he had that fighting spirit. He said, "No chodno." And our boys took out the kukris, the grenade found the mark, but everyone was not killed. So they took out his kukris and started slaughtering these guys, and the complete bunker area was captured. And had it not been for a singular act of valor, bravery, responsibility, and all these, I don't think, we would have been able to do what we did later on. So I think
Absolutely.
The only sad part is, he got the Paramveer Chakra. The only sad part is it was posthumous. I really wish that boy was alive. I have great respect for him and his valor.
So my last question to you, sir, is, we have heard so many stories about Gurkha valor and Gurkha pride and the long list of awards and recognition which various Gurkha battalions have, earned for hundreds of years, not just in Kargil, but hundreds of years. My question is, sir, the famous Khokri, if you can very briefly tell us, sir, some story or some anecdote about how the Khokri, when it was unsheathed, frightened the Pakistanis.
Why only Pakistanis, Gaurav? It comes out right down from the Burma campaign onwards, when the Japanese also, they used to really shiver. And there is a legendary story about the samurai warrior and the Gurkha with the Khokri.
Absolutely.
I believe both of them were facing each other. And they said, "Your samurai, you swear by it. Your Khokri, you swear by it. Let us see what can you do about it and how can you prove that." He had chopped the mosquito into 2 pieces with his samurai sword and he put it back over there. Then it was the Gurkha Johnny's turn. So they said, "Gurkha Johnny, do something." He did something like this. And everybody said, "What? What happened?" Everybody started smiling. Can't do much. And even the samurai guy was slightly, smiling in a weird manner. They said, "You haven't done anything. The samurai is better." He said, "Okay, just ask him to nod his head." So these are, of course, these are legendary stories, of course. But I'm telling you, the kukri in a Gurkha guy's hand, I mean, we do everything with it. And it's like an extended arm. And while chopping the heads, I've seen it in real life also. Our boys don't use that full action of a jhatka like that, It's just something like this. And the head is off. It's lopped off. That's as good as that. So
Absolutely.
And even when I had to sort of urge my boys up, and when I talked to them before the actual war and the battle, what did I tell them? One of the most telling points I told them is, look, Gurkha ka khukri ka dhar, you can never let it down. You must let the enemy taste the edge of the sharpness of your khukri. And our forefathers have done it. That's why we've got a name. So we have to continue with that complete legacy of ours. And our boys didn't look back. They didn't look back.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. And it was, again, a privilege and an honor to speak to you, sir. It was a privilege and an honor. Ladies and gentlemen, with Colonel Lalit Rai, Veer Chakra, the hero of Kargil. And, of course, he tells us stories about the Gurkhas. He told us how Captain Manoj Pandey fought with the Pakistanis and how he was inducted earlier on, Colonel Lalit Rai, when there was, he was just pushed into battle without any sort of briefing, or he did not even know the troops very well. He didn't know the area, but he went and he did his duty. And I think this story of Colonel Lalit Rai Veer Chakra is not just his own story. This is the true DNA, the true essence of the Indian Army. Thank you for joining us, and Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
And of course, my heart goes out to all those brave hearts who laid down their lives for our nation. They did a great job, great service, and I don't think anybody can repay that debt. So my salute to all of those, irrespective of regiment.
Sure.
Thank you, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Jai Hind, sir.